Greetings and salutations, folks, and welcome once again, as always, to another helping of Mr H's Hot Pot. You join me today for day 28 of the UK lockdown, where currently I'm out and about, taking my daily exercise, early in the morning as always, and bringing you guys along for the ride, as always. It's now about 7:30 in the morning as I'm making this video, and it's a little bit chilly. And there's a bit of a wind this morning that hasn't been around for the past 27 days. So although I'm using my new homemade mic, which will hopefully cut down on wind, I've also come into a wooded area, which I'll just show you in a moment. And that will also cut down on the wind. The trees will act as a windbreak. But I'll just whip the camera around now and I'll show you the area that I'm walking round in and I'm mooching round in. As you can see, not a soul around me, and that's the way I want to keep it, Hot Potters. That's the whole idea. I've maintained this from day one of this lockdown, that I was going to get out and try and get away from people as much as possible. Anyway, folks, I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all keeping in good spirits and you're all fettling well. Speaking of fettling, the H-boys managed that little engineering job yesterday to raise Toby's swing up off the ground. Managed to raise it a good 15-inch off the floor now, without the aid of any balancing act or anything like that. So with a bit of luck, he'll get a bit more use out of that now, and he'll continue to enjoy it. The only regret I have is I didn't take a photograph of it before and afterwards, so I could have shown off my handiwork a little bit. I think old Fred Dibner would have been proud of my efforts, even if I had to say so myself. Anyway, folks, on to today's vlog. Big thank you to everybody who commented last night on yesterday's vlog, and apologies to people for the length of time it took to upload. Sadly, it was just really grinding yesterday, YouTube. It seems to be slower on Sundays for some reason when you're trying to upload, whether or not there's a lot of people on the internet around that time and on that particular day than other days in the week, I don't know, but I certainly struggled yesterday. Now, I think it's a combination of two things: slow internet speed, which is out of my control, and the fact that when I get these videos back and I edit them up, you know, I put my old intro on, that little bit of military music and that, it comes out as a large file. It comes out at something like 160 gigabytes of data, so that takes a long time to upload as well. So I'm now looking for a new software program for video editing moving forward, not only for these vlogs, but for when I do get back to doing my normal stuff. And if anybody out there who does this sort of thing as an hobby, please let me know in the comments what video editing software you use. I want something that's just as easy to use as Windows Movie Maker, which is what I currently use, but something that makes the file a lot smaller, but it doesn't lose on any quality. I don't want much, do I? But if anybody knows of anything, please let me know in the comments below. So, folks, thank you for everybody who commented, like I say. And one fella in particular left a rather interesting comment. A fella by the name of Grandad Tommy Plum. If you're the same Tommy Plum who has a YouTube channel showing us tips on how to do little DIY jobs around the home, drawing off your own experience from the building trade, big hello to you, sir. I'm subscribed to your channel, and I found some of your videos very interesting, and I'm jealous of that bloody shed that you have. It's a nice little bolt, all that, away from the missus, isn't it? But yeah, you know, you left a comment and you stated that if I didn't know anybody, or anybody doesn't out there who thinks that this virus is a hoax, doesn't know anybody who personally who's got COVID-19 or, you know, died from it, consider yourself lucky. And that's a very good comment, that, Tommy Plum. You are right in what you say. You shouldn't look at it as that, well, I don't know anybody who's got this, as a negative. You should look at it as a positive, really. And that's my thought process on this. I mean, I do know somebody, albeit tenuously, as I've mentioned in other vlogs, who's now recovering from COVID-19 through Mrs H's line of work. It was a former work colleague's husband who got it, and he's now recovering after receiving fantastic care at Warrington Hospital from the NHS staff there. So, as I say, I do know somebody personally. That's why I believe that it's real. I can't see the point of world governments hoaxing their citizens in this way. I don't see the point in it crashing the economy and stuff. But if you do believe in that theory and you have evidence to back it up, please leave your comments below as to why you think it's a hoax, because after all, you're entitled to your own opinion, aren't you? Just as I'm entitled to mine. Now, moving forward regarding the lockdown period, what I'd like to think about and discuss today is where do you think this will go moving forward as they slowly reopen the country? Because it will come. I think Australia now have reopened their beaches. You know, as they've seen a fall and a decline in COVID-19 cases, they've decided to reopen the beaches, which will be good for them, won't it? They can have a barbie on the beach and all that kind of good stuff. But how do you think our own country will slowly reawaken, for want of a better phrase? My own personal thoughts is it'll be the schools that'll be reopened first. Because after all, education is important to children, and children have been missing out on a lot of education. I know a lot of kids won't thank me for saying that, but, you know, I think they'll be the first ones to go back. Because it also has the effect that it will free up working parents who currently are looking after the kids. You know, if they sent the parents back to work first of all, then the kids would still be at home and you'd need childcare. So I think they'll send them to school first, and then as they slowly send the working parents back to their respective industries, it'll free them up for that. I don't think they'll open up the country all in one go. You know, I don't think they'll just open the floodgates and let everybody go back to the normal daily routines. I think it'll be done phased, because they closed the country down phased, didn't they? And I think the very last industries to reopen will be the hospitality. Managed to get that out right. Yeah, the hospitality industry. You know, I think it'll be hotels, pubs and clubs, and sporting events will be the last things to come back in. I think in California, they've already stated that when they do reopen properly, there'll be no gatherings any larger than 1,000, which will hit hard on the theme parks over there. But you can see where they're coming from. They don't want a second wave. And I think our country will go along the same path, really. But as always, leave your thoughts below on how you think the country will reopen, type of thing. Now, a big thank you as well to everybody who said, you know, you've got the right attitude regarding negative people. I don't really want to give negative people too much airtime, but I don't let it bother me, hot potters. As I've said in previous videos, I know I'm bald, I know I'm overweight. You can't tell me something that I don't already know, you know, and I just roll my eyes when I see a comment like that, and I just click off it, you know, and delete them. That's the best way. But many thanks for everybody who's shown support in that regarding that. Now, one or two of you have been asking regarding these vlogs, will they continue when this wraps up? I have answered this a number of times, but for any newcomers, I'll just mention it again. I'm not a vlogger by nature. I don't normally do this kind of thing. I more prefer making videos where I'm just stood in front of a camera, doing a piece to camera on something like Fred Dibner, George Formby, architectural curiosities, things like that. Anything that just sort of piques me interest and I think, that's interesting, I'll go out and document it. So that's my normal shtick. I've only been forced to make vlogs simply because of the situation. You know, we can't go out and about and go where we want. I mean, I still could, I suppose, but if I put it on camera, I'm setting myself up for a fall, aren't I? Because you never know who's watching these videos. Somebody might turn around and say, hang on, you're from Wigan, what you doing in Chorley, what you doing in Bolton and places like that. So I've just decided for the duration of this period to make these vlogs. I will continue with them as long as I feel I've got something to say, as long as people are still enjoying them. The moment I see the numbers of views and comments drop dramatically, where I'm only getting an handful of views and handful of comments, then I'll probably wrap it up. But I'm hoping it won't go on and it won't get to that stage. I'm hoping, you know, there won't be an extension to the extension, so to speak. Anyway, hope that's cleared that up for you all once again. And as we're coming up to the old 10-minute mark, I'm going to wrap this particular vlog up. So, folks, please leave your comments below on what we've discussed today. We'll bid you a fond farewell, as always. I hope you stay safe, you enjoy the rest of your day as best as you can, and bye-bye for now.